I'm really grateful that people put their ideas and videos out on YouTube, so I wanted to contribute, and I just started buying and collecting Copic markers, and I needed a good way to store it that didn't cost a lot, so and I wanted my markers presented to me at an angle so I could read the number on them, because I'm not familiar just by sight about what colors go with what, so I referenced my hand color chart and to see what colors I want to pick out. So this is my first attempt on my silhouette portrait cutter, and I decided to make a template so that I could trace out on some foam core a stand to start with. This is what I started with. Not a good design. This is just one of the sides. Here's the other. Too flimsy. I decided that it shouldn't be open like that, even though it's easy to slide the shelves onto. I had a slight angle here in the lines, 5 degrees, so that the markers would be angled up towards me so I could see the numbers. But this, again, was a flawed design, so I decided to design another one that had these slots for the shelving pieces, the shelf pieces, encased. So I made a new design, twice as tall, and a 10 degree angle instead of a 5 degree angle. And as you can see, the shelf holes are much sturdier because they're not open on either end. And so I cut one of these with a little cardstock. You only need to do one because you trace one way and then flip it over, and that will be the other side of your holder. So you only need to print one of these. And then you take a really sharp X-Acto knife or utility knife. I think one of these is better than an X-Acto knife because you can decide how deep you want the cut to go through. Because when I'm cutting out the shelves, this is my template for the shelf, when I'm cutting out the shelf I need to cut all the way through, so I have a loose piece here. But when I was doing my sides, which I cut out of 1/2 inch foam core, I didn't want to go all the way through, and I didn't realize that for my first cut, but I don't know if you can see that. I started to cut all the way through, no biggie. But the rest, I didn't cut all the way through of my thick foam core because I just inserted the shelves in here, and it's really quite sturdy. So this is my twice as tall, twice as angled design. And so you trace this with some pencil or whatever onto foam core, trace that onto the side piece, and just don't cut all the way through, so you can just poke the shelf pieces in, and it kind of looks finished almost, finished like finished carpenter. So now my pens will be at an angle to me, and I'll be able to see the numbers while I'm sitting down. So if you have any questions, let me know, but I think hopefully that is it. Use a cutting board, use a nice strong ruler with a metal edge, or a metal ruler. You need 2 pieces of foam core, one of the 1/4 inch. It's actually a little bit less than a 1/4 inch, but whatever, it's about a 1/4 of an inch, and 1/2 inch. And make a template for yourself, and cut and vacuum. It's very messy. You can see all the shreds and stuff I have on my countertop here. So I hope, and I want purposely to have my Copics going along the horizontal, as opposed to some of the YouTube videos have just a big cubby. Sorry, that's my espresso machine. Have a big cubby here that just loose hold all the markers, all your red violets or your blues or whatever. And I'm a little anal, and I wanted my Copic markers, to be in line numerically, so I can select the ones that I want very quickly.